Omega Supreme. Your voice heard.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Thanks for joining me. Today I'm very excited to bring you Pangu Toys PT-02 Mighty Miracle God. This is their version of a Legend Scale Omega Supreme. For those of you that don't know, this is actually a downscaled version of the DX9 Gabriel, which I love. It's an amazing masterpiece version of Omega. Very simple box. Nicely done though. Pangu Toys. It's got the reflective Mighty Miracle God and the PT-02, ages 16 plus, but that's about it. It's a very shiny box. It's just black with the exception of that. But we're not here for boxes. Let's go ahead and get into it. As always, we're going to start with the accessories. So first, you do get a version of the Doctor, which is actually really nicely done. He actually comes with his own little pistol, which you can remove. Just done in white. Looking at the Doctor himself, nicely done gray face, blue eyes, red on the chest, red on the abdomen and feet, and he's surprisingly well articulated. He's got arm, shoulders that go all the way up, all the way around, 90 degrees of elbow bend. Head can rotate, no up and down. Waist does rotate. Legs can go up to there. You can bend 90 degrees. And his feet are on ball joints, so they do have a lot of posability. Issues with mine, definitely some seam issues. But I think that's minor. I might be able to fix that just by unscrewing it and repositioning it a little bit. Not a big deal. But overall, the Doctor is pretty awesome. He does come with an extra face sculpt. Painted very well with the orange and the blue inside the mouth. And then silver all the way around. Mine does, however, have a scratch or a smudge. I don't know. That's disappointing, but it is nicely done regardless. Now he does come with some blast effects as well. They come on a sprue, so you do have to take them off, and there's several pieces to it. This is the main blast. You've got this piece which mounts onto the figure, which goes on like so. You've got a secondary small blast piece which goes inside the center. And then you have a final piece which it's got a very tiny peg on there, so be careful. And I had to narrow out the hole and also trim down the tip of the peg a little bit to get it to fit. And it still is hard to get in. So I may end up actually gluing it. But there we go. So you can combine it all together to create a very nice blast effect. He does come with two of the tracks that unfold for alt mode nicely. They kind of even pop into place, giving it some nice rigidity. And these are utilized both in alt mode and robot mode, and we'll show that when we get them assembled here in a minute. So let's talk about the rocket and the arms. Each one is done with gray plastic, but they do have very nice sculpting and paint accents with silver and charcoal gray on spots throughout. The claw arm or bottom of the rocket does have the ability to rotate, and you can take that section off if you want. And you can see the connectors here for rocket mode. The top is exactly the same detail. Essentially, they use the same pieces, but made it to where you could flip them in order to create the rocket. So it's very easily done, giving you the ability to have this look. Now it is a bit stiff making the connection, but you can get it there. Looks really nice. Now, one thing that they did give the ability to do is actually open this up, and it does require a spudger. It's just because it's a little difficult to grasp. But you can open that up and flip that down to give a open door look to it, which is nice. I mean, it's not to scale with anything, but for display purposes, it's pretty fantastic. And that change right there will be key for connecting the arms in robot mode. But taking a look at the top, there is a light up feature and also a speaker, which I may disable because it's in foreign language. I'm not sure if it's Chinese or Japanese, but let's see if you can hear it. It has a few different phrases, but the main thing is the nice light up feature. And you can also bring in your blast effect. Actually, I have this backwards. Make sure that you have the small end of the connector out. That way you can connect it to the arm, and it does a really nice job of actually lighting it up. So overall, the rocket's nicely done. The light up feature is nicely done. Now, in order to get it into arm mode, you want to open up this door on both the top and the bottom and push the connector out. And then close this guy back up. And I'll show it again here. You can see that is exactly the same as the bottom. But there's the conversion to robot mode. So let's bring in Omega and we'll get him into full robot mode. First thing you want to do is you want to bring the arms out and bring in the appropriate arm. Make sure that you have it turned the right way. And they simply just slide on. They don't lock or anything, but there's enough friction there that it's held on decently well. Could be a little stronger, but it's not bad. We'll bring in the claw side. And there we go. Now we'll bring in his tracks just to complete the look. The way these work is they've got these peg holes on both sides. They just connect here on the back. And this will come down and make the connection here to help hold them in. And there we have Omega all assembled. So let's take a look at the robot mode. Coming in for a close-up. Very nicely done face sculpt and head. I'm going to open this up just so you can see. There's the more emotionless face, which looks really nice. Be careful with the visor. If you do tilt it up too far, it's going to pop off. It just pops back on, so it's not a huge issue, but it is neat that it's liftable. Head does rotate 360 degrees. Now you can extend it up to get a little bit up and down. The gun does pivot up and down as well, so you can go all the way around. So it's gray plastic with some red accents. The gun is just red plastic. Looks really nice. One feature that it does have, you can tilt this up, this little peg at the top, and that's designed to rotate the head from robot mode to the computer screens in alt mode. It's very tight, but it can be done. In some cases, it's easier just to open this up and help it along with your finger, just for fear of being too tight for this little bracket. But there's a look at the computer screens, done nicely in silver with blue for the screens. It looks tremendous. Moving on now to the rest of the body. Yellow plastic for the shoulders. You do have silver accents and orange accents along the detailing lines. Looks really good. Arms can go all the way up to 90 degrees. You do have full rotation. Arms do bend to 90, but due to the bulk, it's understandable why they don't extend past that. Looking at the side, more nicely done detail and paint. You got the treads here for tank mode done in a metallic silver. Red plastic with yellow plastic in the center. Nice clear section here. It looks like it's painted silver underneath. And details throughout. Just very small silver accents, which are nicely done. Now this is one issue with mine. If you can see it, I do have some scratching here. It's minor, it only shows up in the light, but it is there, which is disappointing. Coming down to the waist, you do have full waist rotation, no ab crunch. Hip skirts do move, just be careful with the ones on the back because they do like to pop off. But doing so, you do get out to 90 degrees, forward 90, and back 90. It's nicely done. You do have a swivel for the hip joint, limited, but again, that's due to the bulk of the figure. You do have a nice bend of the knee, which I love the inner workings of the pistons. It looks awesome. And you do have detail on both sides, or all sides actually. More silver paint here. And on the back, silver paint and yellow accents all the way through. Coming down to the shins, yellow plastic with more silver. And the feet, you don't get any up and down, but they do extend to give you a nice rocker for robot mode. So you can also add a little bit of height by bringing these down if you don't feel he's tall enough. But I love the accents and the detail throughout on this figure. And it was the same for Gabriel. And for comparison, here he is with Magic Square's Devastator. Sorry for the freehand, but there he is with the original Gabriel. And a bit of the collection. So let's go ahead and get into transformation. So I've already taken off the arms But you want to take off the other bits as well. So with the legs, these sections do come off. And we'll take a look at those a little bit later. Go ahead and take your track off. So for these, it's very simple. As I showed before, just open them up and you're done. We'll set those aside for now. Go ahead and leave that open. On the main bot, go ahead and lift up on the shoulders, and that will release the tank portion. So for the main body, you want to bring these sections in, and the way that is in the instructions, bring the arms down and pivot them forward so that they meet in the middle. And just the tension here is kind of enough to keep them in place. So leave it that way for now. With the legs, now that we've undone that connection, it's loosened them up. So go ahead and bring them down. Extend the leg out, or the toe. This will actually eventually flip around, but go ahead and open this up. And you can go ahead and twist this around for now. Easier said than done in some cases. There we go. So just like that. And then bring these guys out. You can now collapse that. Come to the inner thigh. And you want to get these guys out. This section here. And the way that it's connected, push down on one, lift up on the other, and then separate. And that is that done. Actually, you don't do that. You can go ahead and make this connection on the bottom of the foot. Bring these out. They will simply snap into place. It is a bit snug, but you can do it. Pivot that up. And join it in the middle. Now we'll be able to make this connection in the middle. Much like they connected to the leg. There's that connection done. And there's the main portion of the base mode. Coming to the middle section here. This is up like that for robot mode. You need to bring this down, pivot the hips back, and make that connection there. Bring that down. And it will sit like that. Now bring in your legs, and again, you'll need a spudger. Bring in your legs. Again, you'll need a spudger. Pop these sections open, which they're very tight. There we go. Do that for both of them. And the way these connect, on the hip skirts for the back, they slide in. And they'll naturally rest at an angle. So at an upward angle, put them in and then bring them down. So they will sit like that. And there's your makeshift entrance to the rocket ship, or to the rocket base. So now we can bring in our tracks, and these just simply plug in on the bottom. You'll see you've got 2 pegs. And they will just lock in. And there is the base mode done. Now you can bring in your completed rocket and sits there. So let's work on the tank. First thing you want to do, undo connections here and here. And that will allow the chest to swing up. Push in a little bit there to help secure it. Bring these all the way around. Swing these portions out. Before you do, bring these sections out all the way. These will connect here. Once we have everything positioned right, it'll clean up nicely. The forward treads will tilt forward. Bring this section down on the bottom. It'll plug in right there to give it some stability. Bring these sections down. These sections will pivot down. And there's a little tab right here that rests right there. And push up to lock. Once again, bring it down. Bring this back section down. and it will connect in 2 tabs here on the back of the tank. So the issue I was having, I wasn't doing it correctly. You've got this double hinge right here. So I had it all the way down. You want to make sure that you do flatten that hinge out and then utilize it like that. And then it'll actually pop into place rather nicely. And here we have the tank. Looking rather good. Again, you do have very nice silver and yellow accents and sculpted detail along the side. Same in the front, silver. You got the red coming through from robot mode, silver accents here, and you do have the extending guns, which is a nice touch. Looks rather fantastic. There's a view from the bottom with the wheels, a view from the back. This tab for me doesn't want to sit in very well, but it's okay. It does do its job, but it's just not going in as deep as the other one. It may be due to the pin. There's a little bit of stress on this connection here. And I think it might be because there's a little bit of a sprue mark on the bottom, so I might be able to clean that up. But overall, tank looks really good. Again, you've got the computer screens coming through on the head. Those rotate. Again, gun pivots up and down. No motorization. I guess the new age version is going to have motors available, but it does kind of stay on the track. The wheels do help it move along. So it's, in my opinion, it's a rather nice version of base mode. Once again, sorry for the hands-free, but he's just so big, it's a lot easier to get a nice view like this. Taking a quick 360 look at the base mode, you can see all the detail from robot mode coming through. One thing I failed to mention is there's actually clear plastic over the detailing here to make it look as though it's windows, which is a nice addition. Got the ramps coming down. I think it looks really fantastic, honestly. Pangu Toys did a marvelous job downsizing the figure. Final thoughts on Pangu Toys version of Omega Supreme. I think he's fantastic. Minor QC issues aside, like I said, you've got the scratches there on my abdomen. You can only really see it when the light reflects on it. I do have a bit of orange paint here, which I think will come off just from, that's from when they were doing the detailing. But all the detailing looks fantastic on this figure. For the price, $84, it's amazing. One small minor gripe, the light works beautifully, but it's tied to the voice recording. So as soon as the voice recording stops, it turns off. I wish there was a setting that would allow the light to just stay on. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe if you hold it just right, it will, but I can't seem to figure it out. If there's something I'm missing, definitely let me know in the comments. But overall, the sculpting, the paint detail is fantastic. And this is going to be my Omega Supreme. I'm not going to buy the New Age version. I mean, I imagine you can't go wrong. New Age does put out a wonderful product, but yeah, I mean, this one just hits that cartoon aesthetic checkbox for me. So I'm happy with my decision. If you haven't already, please like the video, subscribe to the channel, and don't forget to get your bell on to get notified of future content. Thank you for watching, and I will see you again next time.